Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Another good weekend at Celtic Football Club. A weekend that leaves me with this, once again, very smug smile on my face. We now turn our attentions to the Champions League on Wednesday, but is this it now coming together for Brendan Rodgers? Is everything falling into place? Because right now, momentum is high, spirit is high, and things just seem to keep getting better. Until Wednesday, that is, but we'll talk about that at the time. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated on that road to 50,000 subscribers. So all you have to do is go down. It's absolutely free. Hit both those buttons and we'll keep going because we're doing well. So I appreciate your support, especially after a very long and very boring international break. We've managed to see the other side of it. So yeah, keep that up, guys. Thank you very much. A lot to talk about today. I've actually got a few things jotted down which I want to cover. I'm in a bit of a ranty kind of mood. There's a wee bit of a rant I want to go and do later on in the video, just kind of following on from a few things that I said yesterday, because if we're as good as Celtic are at the minute, for as nice football as we're playing, and as I said in the start of the video, things coming together well for Brendan Rodgers, still feel like there's a lot of problems, not with Celtic, just with Scottish football in general, and a lot of that was exacerbated yesterday with what we saw at Tynecastle. So yeah, but we'll come on to it, we'll talk about it. But let's start with the positives, shall we? Because as I said, things falling into place for the manager at the minute. I think that we are now finally seeing everyone get aboard the Brendan bus, if they weren't already. The chant came back out yesterday at Tynecastle. We heard it for the first time since 2019. God, wake me up, pinch me. I can't believe it. I've been waiting for this. It's finally here. I think that he's done his job. The fans now buying into that. And, you know, for some people it wasn't as easy as wanting him back straight away or taking to him straight away. But if the results keep coming and the football keeps getting better, then, you know, the past is the past, and the best thing to do is think about the future. And we're in for a bright one with Brendan Rodgers at the helm. Yesterday was just brilliant. Some liquid football being played at times in that game. First half, we were excellent. Second half, we were still excellent. The only annoying thing was the fact that we did concede a goal in the game. It was one that could have been avoided. Talking about avoiding goals, we'll come on to a statement later on from someone. I think you know who I'm talking about. But no, genuinely yesterday, easily the best performance of the season so far across all competitions. And that comes straight after we said the same thing when we played Kilmarnock at Celtic Park before the international break. I remember leaving Celtic Park that day going, that's our best performance of the season so far, from the start to the finish. The consistency was there throughout the 90 minutes, and we looked a better, more well-oiled machine. And we just built on that at Hearts yesterday. And the best part about it is, I think there's still a lot more to come. I think there's still areas that we can easily improve in. Whether that be by players coming back from injury, whether it be by signing other players, or whether it just be general improvement, which I think we've seen in a few guys already this season. We are going to get better and better under Brendan Rodgers, and we're still very much in the early days of this second Rodgers revolution. So there's a lot to look forward to, and if these performances just keep getting better and better, it'll be very good. The annoying thing is, of course, we have Wednesday, which we're going to talk about towards the end of the video. We have Wednesday coming up against Atletico Madrid, where you're ultimately talking about our toughest game of the season. We're not going to play a side this year better than Atletico Madrid, and they are by far the best team that we'll play this season. They're better than Feyenoord, they're better than Lazio. This is going to be tough, and I think it's very easily done in these situations when you lose against an Atletico to get a bit down, to get a bit annoyed, because you want to see us challenge in these games, and I think we can challenge. We've shown against Lazio and Feyenoord we have the capabilities to go into these Champions League games and challenge. But if we do lose, I hope it doesn't take away from the general momentum that the fans are feeling at the minute. I think that we are well deserving of it. I think that domestically we've shown great improvement. And even if there is a setback on Wednesday, we pick ourselves up and we go at it again on Saturday. That's what I hope the general consensus will be, no matter what the result is on Wednesday. However, I'm still going to remain optimistic, and we'll come on to that. One of the key guys in all of this, and talking about improvements and just looking really good, Matt Reilly. We need to speak about Matt Reilly. He has been nothing short of magnificent. He has been so far the player of the campaign. He looks twice the player that he did last season, and I think that the benefits of a manager like Brendan Rodgers with him, they're there to be seen. We all know the benefits, and we all know that he's got a great relationship with the manager since he came into the job in June. So, I mean, I love it. You surely love it, but you see it through the whole team. The team love it. This was Callum McGregor talking yesterday after the game about Matt O'Reilly. He said he has been superb. Like he touched upon, a little bit of luck as soon as you get a goal, then you feel good about yourself. But he came back in the summer in incredible condition. He clearly worked really, really hard over the summer, and he totally deserves his vein of form, his goals and assists. He's such an important player for the team. He makes us tick in that first phase of the game. And then he's joining in and getting goals, coming up with big goals and assists. He's a top player, and he just keeps working. Matt O'Reilly is someone who has came into this team, and from day one, his class has shown. It's not hidden. It's not something that it took ages to tap into. From the minute he started playing games at Celtic, the class was evident. And he made us a better side. And you saw the quality of player that you were getting there. However, last season, it was a bit dry for him. I remember at the start of last season, so many people were getting fed up with him. I was like, my God, that same typical way, the guy's been at the team 6 months, oh, he's not good enough. You know, there was people saying that. And it was a dry spell for him. He wasn't getting goals. He wasn't even getting the assists he'd maybe like either. I know he ended up finishing with a great amount of assists, but I feel like there was this expectation placed upon him that he wasn't meeting for some reason. I still thought he had a really solid campaign, but a lot of people still thought that there was a lot to be desired with Matt O'Reilly, and they knew there was another level that he could unlock. And I think he took that on board. As Michael Jordan once said, he took that personally. And he's went away in the summer and he's worked really hard. I think a big motivation in that is the fact that a manager like Brendan Rodgers is coming in. Of course, we had an elite manager with Ange Postecoglou, but for another elite manager to come in who has overseen such success in his career, he would have wanted to impress him. And by God, he's done that. He's done that. He's impressed him. And I think that's one of these things that we have been quietly appreciating over the last few years. Like, we might not see it all the time, but the group of professionals that we have at Celtic at the minute, you couldn't ask for a better group of players. In terms of wanting to better themselves and the way they carry themselves, the attitude around the whole club is fantastic. And obviously that spans across different managers with Postecoglou and even Rodgers in his first tenure. But it's something that's been really prevalent over the past few years, that we have players that take really good care of themselves. We have players who want to keep getting better. And Matt O'Reilly has went away in the summer when he was already in fantastic condition, and he's made that condition better. He's worked on himself, and that's clearly showed off at Lennox Town. The team know that, they appreciate that, and I'm telling you right now, it'll rub off on them as well. It'll rub off for the rest of the players. Callum McGregor, who's talking about it, we know how good Callum McGregor looks after himself, the amount of football he plays, but that's the kind of thing that motivates other players in the team to go, I need to do what he's doing. And I think Matt O'Reilly is, once again, quietly bringing that into the side. So massive credit to him, massive credit to everybody in that team at the minute, because they just seem to keep getting better and want to get better. And he's showing the positives of that with the fantastic campaign that he's having. And also, you've got to give a massive credit to the guys who don't get the limelight all the time. Guys like Tomoki Iwata, who are getting very limited chances, but are making the most of them. We have spoke a lot about how the depth at Celtic might not be where we want it to be. You looked at the start of the season when there was a lot of injuries, and the bench, you looked at it and you're like, oh my God, we've got not the strongest looking bench. But these are guys who are still chipping away and wanting to give it their all. It's very easy to down tools when you're in that position. God, we've had it so many times in the past. Players who don't get football and then they down tools. They don't want to really try as hard as they can. But you've got guys like Iwata yesterday coming off the bench, scoring a fantastic goal. And 9 times out of 10 when Iwata is coming off the bench, he's giving you a solid performance. That, once again, it goes to the attitude of the players that we've got right now. It needs to be admired, and a big part of it, the credit needs to go to the manager who keeps these players motivated to come on and do their part when they're called upon. So, yeah, happy. Right, Stephen Naismith then. I alluded to this comment a few moments ago in the video. We got rid of Robbie Neilson. We thought the tears had dried up, thought they were gone, but no. Out goes one clown, in comes another. Stephen Naismith, he was tearing up yesterday with his post-match reaction. Didn't think Hearts were that bad. If anything, he thought Hearts We're very unlucky. Totally dominated, mind you. Totally dominated. But Stephen Naismith insisting that all the goals were avoidable. I mean, come on. If it's 1 or 2, right, fair enough. But 4. All 4 goals were avoidable. I think that you're missing the point in football, Stevie. I think you're missing the point. I think he had a wee bit of greeting about the penalty decision as well, even though Kyogo is quite clearly wiped out. That's raised a lot of... I said this yesterday, right? And this is the thing. I said in my video yesterday, I think the penalty was light. You know, I said that. I was like, would I have given it? I don't know. But it was light. But then when you watch it back, he takes the leg right away from him. He goes in at full speed. What's Kyogo meant to do? Balance on one leg. I don't know what everybody's expecting, the people who are sharing it and making a joke about Celtic winning an easy penalty. Like, it's a penalty. It is. Like, you can see, and it obviously he's not went in studs showing and snapped his ankle in half, but I think I'm missing the point. But Naismith having a wee greet about things, lovely. And that's nice to see. Naismith tears, Nielsen tears. It's becoming a constant at Hearts. Talking about Hearts, and this video's going to go on a lot longer than I actually initially planned. I've done a lot of yapping, but I need to yap. This is where I wanted to come into my rant that I spoke about earlier. I told you I was feeling ranty, and I touched on this yesterday, but Scottish football is dying. It's dying. And for a lot of people outside Scotland, it's been dying for a long time. I've done my best on this channel. You know me, go back years ago. I used to make videos. It was like Celtic versus English football fans, and I would defend Celtic and defend the Scottish game, and I'd done it for a number of years as well on Talk Scottish Football when we done the podcast. I'm a big advocate for Scottish football, and I love and appreciate the game that we've got going on up here, but there is no denying, and especially in the last couple of years where it's become even more evident, we're doing everything in our power to destroy the game from the inside. It's like self-implosion, self-destruction, it almost feels like what we're doing to the Scottish game up here, and it's getting to the point now, it's really on my nerves. I think we're ruining it for everyone. We're ruining the chances of it becoming an attractive enough league for someone to watch. And I brought up this example yesterday in my video. You're scrolling yesterday through the Sky Sports channels, if you're not from Scotland, an English viewer scrolling the channels, there's some football on. There was no, keep in mind, there was no Premier League game on where we were playing. Scrolling the channels, there's football, put that on the now. I would not grudge you, I would not be shocked to hear that you turned it straight back off after 30 seconds. The atmosphere was dead. The football wasn't bad itself. Obviously, Celtic played some really nice stuff. But the atmosphere was dead. The spectacle it's meant to be was not there. You're talking about, what, the third biggest game in Scottish football? Celtic versus Hearts. It's up there. It's in the top 5 fixtures. And yesterday, you'd think there was a pre-season friendly that was going on. The place was quiet. There was empty seats. The away support, once again, being brought down to a number similar to 500, or remotely close to 500. We're doing everything in our power to destroy our own game from the inside. And for a country who are so passionate about their game and are so passionate in defending their game, the same culprits are the ones responsible for really tarnishing it and really bringing it down. Hearts putting the capacity down to 500, I don't get it. I don't. And I see Hearts fans going on podcasts and all the rest of it and going on social media and giving it, well, if we can fill our stadium with all of our fans, then we should be looking out for ourselves. You didn't. You didn't fill this. It's fact. The stadium was not sold out yesterday. There was empty seats all over the place, especially 50 minutes onwards. Oh God, there was a lot of empty seats. But from kick-off, there was empty seats. Glaring spaces of seats. So you can't come out and say, we're looking after our own support and we're prioritising filling it with our own fans, when you can't fill it with your own fans. And even at that, I don't like it. I just don't. I've never got it. It's never been a thing till now. I'm only 23, right? My life is really short compared to some people who've been watching football. You know, my dad's doing this in the 70s. He's been watching football a hell of a lot longer than me, but even he's the first one to tell me it's never been like this. What happened to the game where we decide that away fans shouldn't have a part in it? When did that become the trend? Why is it a thing now? And why has it become a popular thing and a popular opinion that fans of the clubs imposing these rules are suddenly in favour of? Football has always been about rivalry, passion, competitiveness, two teams one against each other, and most importantly, a good bit of banter, you know, between fans, which we are eradicating from the game. And not only Hearts, of course, it's been a few clubs that have done it now, starting with first and foremost Rangers across the road. But why? Why are we doing it? Why are we destroying the game? Why are we killing the atmosphere? I would love a Celtic Park full, and basically is, to be fair. I was going to say, I would love a Celtic Park full of 60,000 die-hard Celtic fans week in, week out. Of course I would, because it's your own fans, it's great atmosphere, whatever. But I would much rather give away 5,000 seats to an away support if they're going to bring 5,000, if it was the option. Why? Because it's part of the game. Football is two teams against each other, not one team. It's not one team, even if they're at home. And obviously for us, we're in a completely different situation, because sometimes teams come to Celtic Park and they bring, I can count them from my section. Sometimes there's about 30. If St Johnstone come down for Perth, I've counted 33 St Johnstone fans. But if there was, what I'm saying is, if there was a potential of 5,000 St Johnstone fans being in the stadium, I would love it. I would take it. You might not agree with it, but I would, because it's part of the game, and we're eradicating it, we're killing it, and we're actually contributing to the own death of Scottish football. People keep yapping on about, our TV deal is shocking, the SFA, they're terrible, they've got us a horrible deal, look at what they're getting over in Holland, or Denmark, or this, that, and look at the money they're getting compared to us. Do you know what would be a good start? If we actually helped contribute to the game being attractive. Because we're not doing that at the minute. And no wonder nobody wants to pay out more money to televise their games, because they're not getting much. It all starts at home. It all starts with what we're doing as a country to try and put out there. And we're not putting out a very good product at the minute. I mean, sometimes the football can be bad enough. And once again, I've always been a right backer for Scottish football, a right advocate in trying to defend our game. I always have been, and I always will be. Very passionate about that. But sometimes you've got to sit down and be honest with yourself and go, oh, no wonder. No wonder we're not getting television money. No wonder nobody's want to watch us. Because we're doing things up here that they don't do in any other country. Locking out away supporters. Minimising the amount of fans that can come into the ground. Doing things like this has absolutely no benefit for the betterment of Scottish football. Has the betterment for certain clubs in mind. But for Scottish football, it does absolutely nothing. For years, and I don't even say it's the biggest derby on the planet anymore, because it's fucking not. It's a lie in saying it is. It might have the tradition of the biggest derby, and it might have all the kind of sentiment of the biggest derby, but you cannot stick on a Celtic Rangers game anymore and go, oh, this is going to be a feisty one, this is between the... Because there's no fans there, there's no away fans. What's that about? It's single-handedly taking away a title that we felt so passionately about and being the fiercest derby in the world. It's not anymore. It's just everybody supporting the same team in the ground. Back in the day, oh my God, it was thousands of away supporters. Before I was born, it's nuts. And it's just gone down and down and down and down to the point of zero. There was 0 Celtic fans at Ibrox in the last visit. Why are we destroying our own game? I told you, I had to rant. I had to get it off my chest. Rant over for now. Just, as I said, had to get that off my chest. I know not everyone agrees. And some people will say, oh, we should be looking out for our own club. And we should be... for me, it just destroys what everything football is about. I think it's pathetic. And I think to side with the argument that it does have its place and we should be doing it, I think it's just forfeiting really the value of football. I think that you just don't appreciate it for what it is. And I have a reason to their opinion, but I just can't get on board with it. I can't. But anyway, I was going to touch on tomorrow, Wednesday a little bit, but I'm going to do my match preview tomorrow, so we'll leave that for then. It's going to be a tough game, of course. I look forward to seeing the Atletico fans in the stadium creating a bit of noise. That'll be good. But I also look forward to seeing our fans try and hopefully see Celtic through a very tough game to maybe a historic win, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. If you've enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated, and I'll see you all next time.